Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Grim the Fang King, your friendly neighborhood fence straddler, and today we're going to be going over a very sensitive topic in the anime YouTube community, and that is going to be power scaling. We're going to talk about the problem with power scaling and why there's a stigma surrounding it, which tends to point to it as a cancer in the anime community. Now, the problem with power scaling is that people who do so using headcanon. Now, this is the case for basically every power scaler. Now, a good power scaler will use guides as well as manga panels and canon anime statements, which is kind of an oxymoron, to back up their math, which is fantastic. It's great. The issue is that certain power levels, especially in, for example, the Dragon Ball universe, have no stated or confirmed multiplier, causing power scalers to make a judgment call. They can either throw some random bullshit number out there, or they can try to make an educated guess using empirical evidence, citing as many sources and facts as possible, while explaining how they came to the conclusion that transformation X grants an X times multiplier. This is fantastic. However, the problem really starts when these quote-unquote power scalers start presenting these numbers as cold hard fact. It should be clear to most any fandom that there's a stigma surrounding power scaling, and that's why. Not every power scaler does this, but what generally happens is that fans of these power scalers cling to their every word as a fact. They go around debating other people, and they use somebody else's educated guess as a fact. Instead of taking somebody else's estimation with a grain of salt, they treat it as if they got the information from a guidebook or official source, and they refuse to hear what anybody else has to say. Because if anybody speaks out against them to debate them, they're either a hater, or they brush it off and say that this person has conceded the debate. This in turn makes not only the power scalers they cite look bad, but causes the community as a whole to look like pure cancer. The thing everyone needs to understand is that when there is no official guide, the power multiplier of a specified character is left up entirely to opinion. These opinions formed by power scalers may be in the ballpark of what we would actually expect to see from an official guide, but in the end, there's no way to prove this for sure. Even if their math is correct, this doesn't mean that the conclusion they draw in the end is indeed fact. I'll give a good example of this. One of the most controversial anime YouTubers out there right now, Seth the Programmer, did a video. It was a versus battle, and it was between different verses, Naruto and Bleach, and it was the Akatsuki versus the Espada. In his video, his buddy Clyde the Weeaboo posted a calc that he created, which was meant to calculate the size of Las Noches, and then get a power scaling for Ulquiorra's Lanza del Rey Lampago, based off of that calc. The problem with his calc was simply the fact that it was based off an assumption. His math was correct for the most part, but it was the fact that Ichigo and his friends were in a random place in Hueco Mundo, and it took them 3 days to walk to the gate of Las Noches from where they were. We don't know how big Hueco Mundo is. We don't know where they were in Hueco Mundo in comparison to its entire scale. We don't even know how big Las Noches is. We don't know if any of it's symmetrical or what shape it's in or what the case is. So, based on the assumption that it took 3 days to walk to the front gate, Clyde took that number, put it into relative terms of distance, which was half the distance that it would be walking between Sydney and Melbourne, Australia, and he used that to calculate circumference. But it was all based off assumption, because there's no way to calculate the circumference of an area that you have no relative size for it or distance. They weren't walking from within Las Noches to the front gate. They were walking from an external area to the beginning of Las Noches. So, therefore, there's no reasonable explanation to base that math off of. This doesn't mean that the video was bad or that Clyde is stupid, or, I'm not speaking out against Seth or any of them saying that the video was bad or telling you to unsubscribe or anything like that. And the math was indeed good. But that's the point I'm getting across. There are people who took from that video that calc and went and used that as a point of debate when there were no facts backing up the calc. So the reason the negativity typically happens is because any good debate is based in fact, and where there are no facts to support a debate, it just becomes headcanon. Yet people idolize somebody and refuse to admit that this person is making a guess whether it is educated or not. Does this mean we should rag on everyone who makes a power scale of their own? No, fucking of course not. Clyde is the example. I'm not sitting here calling him a fucking idiot or saying anything bad about him because of his calc, or I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, Seth is a fucking retard because he said the Kotsky would lose to the Spada and Naruto is the best. No, that's stupid. I'm not gonna lower myself to that level of fucking feces. So, no, you shouldn't rag on everybody who makes a power scale, because power scaling inherently, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fun. It's a topic of debate, okay? What I would urge everyone to do as a community is to treat every estimation, which is backed up with reasonable fact, with respect. But to also remember, in the end, every conclusion drawn, no matter how many facts back it up, every conclusion drawn which cannot be proven to a definite end is simply an opinion. And that's the most important thing you can do in this community, is to question everything and draw your own logical conclusion based on factual evidence. So in other words, never take somebody else's word for it. Do your own research. Don't cite somebody else as your source. If you are debating somebody and you're doing something like, oh, well, I bet, Super Saiyan God Goku could kick the shit out of Jiren if he got a Super Saiyan 4 multiplier. It's, and in order to base your argument, you go and your site, your source of information is that you took some guy's argument on Google Plus and you just copied and pasted that into your debate. If that's going to be your source of evidence, then you're going to lose the debate and everybody's going to poke fun at you. I'm not saying we should be rude and poke fun at people, but you're not going to get away with something like that. So it's definitely worth the hassle of taking an extra 10 minutes out of your time to go ahead and do some research. Start Googling some manga panels. Do something. Come in with some evidence to support your claims. Don't just drop in and say, well, theoretically this could happen, and if you don't agree with me, then it's a logical fallacy. So, no, it's retarded, and it doesn't make you sound smart, because you're going to be a pseudo-intellectual and use big words and that you probably don't know what they mean. And I'm profiling right now. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to profile or stereotype, but there are people like that in this community, and that's why there's such a big problem. So hopefully, if you guys take anything away from this video, it's don't even take what I'm saying as fact. Go and do the research. Everything that I'm talking about, go and experience that for yourself. Go and look at all that evidence and go look at that stuff, and then come back and see if it matches up. Form your own opinion about it. If you have any comments, I would love to hear your thoughts. Drop them below. If you want to like this video, that's awesome. If you hate me and you want to punch me in the face, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. If you want to call me out on my bullshit because you think I'm spouting bullshit and you want to fucking debate me, go ahead and debate me, bro. Message me. Fucking go ahead and drop those comments down. And if you want to stay tuned for more videos, because I am going to be breaking down more topics in the anime YouTube community, and I am going to be doing versus battles and things like that, and I am going to take a stab at power scaling. If anybody wants me to do certain power scaling, I will. If anybody wants me to work on calcs, that's fine. If you want to collaborate with me on something, I would be more than happy to. If you want to debate all of these things, that's fucking awesome. And also, I will be calling out some other anime YouTubers. These are not necessarily all going to be versus YouTubers. There are going to be many people that I am going to call out for different levels of bullshit, and hopefully it might open people's eyes and bring about a positive change in this community. I'm not sitting here and taking the moral high ground, and I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, this person clickbaits for views, so they're bad. If I'm, you know, I'm not going to take a moral high ground and say, and be that hypocritical asshole, because then they can easily turn around and go, well, he's only calling me out for views because it's clickbait. So I'm not going to take the moral high ground and call somebody out for clickbaiting. If that's what you want, please go watch somebody else's channel. But that's all for today. So go fucking enjoy yourselves and have a good one.